What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. This video is going to be a multi-part deal over the whole weekend. We're excited this weekend to get to go to the 6S River Ranch in Gatesville. I'm going to be hunting zebra with a bow, and my buddy Jeff, who you'll get to meet this weekend, is going to be hunting bison with a bow. We're pretty excited for this adventure. Now, I've hunted with 6S before. I had the opportunity in April to take a broke-horn black buck, measured 22 inches on one side. He was just an absolute stud. And we had the opportunity to go back, so we're looking forward to it. We're pretty excited. Today, we're at the ranch. We're at the family place here in a different part of the hill country. We just got in, we unloaded the truck, we downed the trailer, and jumped in the mule to go cruise around. Now, we haven't been up here since the major rainfall that we had in Texas earlier this month. It's absolutely devastating what happened to so many folks here in Texas. So we're gonna cruise around a little bit, kind of assess some damage if we have any at all. Take a look at what everything looks like. You know, we've been paying attention to our cameras, and as far as I can tell, everything looks to be okay. But obviously that can't replace the hands-on that you get when you come to a piece of property and you can put your hands on things, you can put your eyes on things and check everything out, make sure it's good. So tag along. We're going to cruise around a little bit. We're going to check on feeders. We're going to check some of the creek crossings and the fences and stuff. So just hang out. This is what we're going to do for right now. And then after we do this, you probably won't see me again until we get to Gatesville. It very well could be we're sitting in the blind on the first afternoon. We'll do that. We'll go over the bow setup that I'm gonna be running. I'm not entirely sure what Jeff is gonna be running this weekend, but we can go over what I'll be running. It's the same thing I've been running all year, and I'll get it out later and show you guys. It's gonna be my Hoyt Alpha AX2 29, so we'll go over that in a little bit. Hang out, stay tuned. Okay, guys, so here it is. This is the bow I'm going to be using this weekend. Like I said, it's the Hoyt Alpha AX2 29. I prefer a shorter bow in the wilderness green with 75-pound limbs on it. It's a little hot. It's peaking at 77, 29-inch draw. I'm running the dialed proof on the Picatinny mount with the integrated rest and an 8-inch front bar with the ghost sticks. Now, the front bar I have mounted in the ghost sticks position. You'll notice I'm not running a back bar on this bow. Typically I don't. I find, especially on these aluminum bows, they hold really well. For me, I don't feel like I need one. We're running the Phantom strings. I got away from another brand that everybody is in love with. Everybody loves them. And I had a couple sets that were okay. But for the most part, I had nothing but issues with those strings. So I got away with them. So much so that my shop doesn't even carry those strings anymore. So we're trying these out. I've been using these all year. I've been pretty happy with them. Now I did forget my arrows to show you my arrow setup, but I'll just tell you what it is. I left them back at the house. I'm going to be running the Ultra 166s, the 4 millimeters, with 175 grains up front for a total arrow weight of 483 grains, which is the very high end of the heaviest arrow that I will run. At 29 inches, 77 pounds, I'm getting 283 feet per second out of this bow. I've killed a handful of things with that this year. Now, I haven't killed any whitetail with this. Obviously, we're not into whitetail season yet. It's the end of July, beginning of August, at the time I'm filming these videos. See, what all have we killed? We've killed a handful of rams. We killed a Gims buck. We killed a black buck. And then we got zebra this weekend. Those ultra arrows have been really tough. The only thing I've been able to break them on so far was the Gims buck. But I mean, when you weigh 600 pounds, when that shoulder comes back, it's going to snap whatever that is behind it. So other than that, I've been pretty happy with them. No particular reason I chose those. When I built this bow, I said I was going to try new everything. So that was just one of those arrows. I had some buddies that were shooting them. They said they were happy with them. Traditionally, I'd been shooting Victories, which are incredible arrows, but I kind of decided, let's try something new. Let's play, let's tinker a little bit and give something else a shot. I tried the Ultras. I had a buddy that had some. He gave them to me and said, give these a shot. Tell me what you think. And I've been pleasantly surprised. Now they claim they have that no spine technology, right, in the Ultras, but I'm going to be honest, I don't know how much I buy that. I've had a few of them that I have had to knock tune. So I don't know that, and it may be, you know, a better archer than I am can figure that out. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I just know what my experience has been. Now on that arrow, we're going to be running this weekend. We're going to be running the SEVR 1.5 hybrids. Zebra are pretty big. They're pretty tough. They got some thick hide on them. Everything I've killed this year, I've killed with the 1.5 hybrid, from the Gims buck to the rams to the black buck. Everything that we've shot, we've killed with that hybrid broadhead, and I've been exceptionally happy with it. SEVR is my mechanical of choice. I don't know that I'm ever going to shoot another mechanical, truth be told. They are not sponsoring me. Nobody's sponsoring me. All of this stuff I bought with my money, in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Obviously, I'm not big enough to be sponsored by anybody, right? But the products I'm using because I believe in them. They've worked really well for me. So we're going to give it a shot. Next time you see us, we'll be in Gatesville. So the first night we sat in a pop-up blind underneath a few cedar trees about 35 yards off the protein feeder, a couple of 100 yards from the travel corridor that these zebra tend to take. Unfortunately, about 30 minutes after we got set up, our wind switched, and we got busted by some other animals, some Gims buck and a sable. And the zebra ended up making a wide gap around us and never closed the 100-yard gap from the water trough to the protein feeder. So unfortunately, we didn't get it done the first night, but we did have a great time seeing all kinds of different stuff, from axis to whitetail, elk, sable, Gims buck, you name it. after the first night of hunting, we went back to the lodge and met up with Jeff, who got in late, where we made a game plan to get ready to hunt bison the next morning with a bow.
Oh shit, got him, load up. You got it, you gotta get one in that shoulder. Right there. Before he starts running. Just bury one in the lung. Right behind that shoulder. Give him a lung shot. Give him something to put him down. That did him. Good shot.
Okay guys, so this weekend we're at the 6S River Ranch, kind of like we talked about. We're chasing bison and zebra. This is Jeff.
Howdy.
You haven't met him before, you've heard about him, you hadn't met him. Today's the day. So
today's the day.
We're gonna kind of let him take it. We're gonna let him talk about what he's doing this weekend, what he's running, what he's using, and why he kind of picked those things. So Jeff, take it away.
Hey, good afternoon. Like Colton said, name's Jeff. This is my second year of bow hunting actually, so still pretty new to the sport. Super excited to get into it though. Like we said, we're after bison. Managed to take a bison this morning. It's a pretty cool spot and stock type hunt. So yeah, go over kind of my arrow setup real quick. This was originally designed to be a turkey arrow, running an AE hybrid 4-fletch 4x90. RIP TKO with standard IP Nox 50 grain half out with the G5 T2. Picked the G5 T2 just because I'd seen a pretty good deal of success in some larger game animals. I know that a lot of the advice I'd been given was to run a fixed blade, but I believe we'll cover kind of the success that I had and even using this mechanical style broadhead. So that's the arrow setup, and it's pushing maybe about 296 out of a Hoyt Alpha X 29 tombstone with black limbs, pulling 80 pounds with UV slider, Hamsky Raptor, and just a stabilizer. Nothing too fancy.
What rest are you running on that bow?
The Ultra Rest Integrate.
The Q80?
Yeah.
Awesome, good choice.
Thanks.
So this morning we got out and we did a spot and stalk. We got up early and didn't grab the camera. So I got some footage. I didn't get a ton of our hunt this morning. We talked about it ahead of time, and we said we weren't going to sacrifice our hunt for video footage. We were more about having a good time and, you know, making memories and really enjoying ourselves this weekend. It's Jeff and I and my son's inside. Just really about having a good time. So, you know, he ran the T2s, he ran these mechanicals, which I was a bit hesitant about, given that we're chasing bison bull. You know, 2,000, 2,500 pounds, somewhere in that ballpark. Just absolutely tough animals. But Jeff had some pretty good success. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we managed to get, all in all, it took 4 shots, which I'm not super proud of, but they were 4 very well-placed shots, and to the animals' credit and to Colton's point, they're just outstanding, amazingly tough animals. And so the first shot, I managed to get it in the liver, and put a second arrow in the lungs and kind of backed out just to see if he'd expire with those 2 wounds. And I mean, both arrows were sank into the fletchings, and I mean, so we had good penetration, not a full pass through. And so after about 30 minutes, we could still see the bison, and so in an effort just to kind of expedite the expiration process, we decided to try to put another arrow in him. Third arrow wound up hitting the arrow that was in the lungs and shattering that shaft, so really didn't get a good amount of penetration off of that arrow. And then the fourth arrow managed to line up a pretty good shot and put one right in the heart. And
Why was that shot impressive?
So, as Colton said, and as I kind of stated, the general consensus was that I should run a fixed blade broadhead, purely for penetration and maintenance of kinetic energy and momentum. So the reason that heart shot was impressive was with the T2, with the arrow setup that I described, we actually managed to get a complete pass through the animal, which was absolutely incredible. I remember kind of looking around for that arrow on the back end, because as the bison was expiring, he did turn around to where we could see the other side, and we saw the wound, but we couldn't see the arrow, and we were wondering maybe if the arrow broke off inside the chest cavity or not. And then our guide came walking up to me after the fact with my arrow and figured out that it had actually passed all the way through the animal. And so, like we said, just amazingly tough animals. So the fact that we were able to push an arrow all the way through a bison with a mechanical at 40 yards is just, I think, speaks to the validity of the T2 for this application.
Now, let's be clear. He's not sponsored by G5. He's
not at all
sponsored by anybody. He picked a broadhead he thought was going to be a good choice, and it turned out to work really well for him. I myself am I like mechanicals, you know, as you guys have seen. I love that SEVR head. That's what I'm using for my Zebra. You know, that 1.5 hybrid is what I'm running, and I was hesitant on the T2s, and I was like, man, I don't know if that's going to be a good option. But he definitely proved me wrong. They turned out to work out really well, especially for a 2-inch cut. You know, those were impressive. That definitely changed my mind on modern day mechanicals. It just goes to show, with the right setup and putting the arrow where it needs to go, even these big cutting mechanicals will do the job. Don't Don't let everybody fool you. Sure, fixed blades are great, and everybody's got their pros, and I'm not here to beat a dead horse. I'm not here to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. You do what you think is right and what you feel most comfortable with. But, I mean, this just goes to show with the right setup and a well-tuned bow and a well-placed arrow, you can kill damn near anything, even with a mechanical. So, how heavy was that arrow, Jeff?
I think it's coming in right at 476, if memory serves.
Okay, 476.
So, yeah.
Now, is that heavy for you, or is that a lighter arrow?
Typically I run about 445. I think the major difference between this arrow and my typical hunting setup is, like I said, running longer AAE in a 4-fletch configuration, whereas typically I run a 225 boning and a 3-fletch configuration.
Okay, I like it, man. Congratulations again on your buffalo, man. That was a sight to be seen.
Yeah,
we'll throw some footage in here. What I have, we caught some stuff on the phones, but we ran out, and this particular bison has been a pain for the ranch. He's been real destructive and real aggressive. And truthfully, our main focus this morning, especially given that we were bow hunting, was safety all the way around. I mean, we were inside of 50 yards, and that can be a pretty dangerous place for a full-grown bison. So safety was paramount. Filming came second. That was not something that was at the top of my list. But I'll drop some stuff in here of what I do have that I can share with you.
Which I know that our guide got some pretty decent footage as well of the shot, and
we'll include some of that.
Yeah.
Whatever I get from him, we'll throw it in there so you guys can take a look. But it was pretty impressive. So we're gonna get back at it this evening. I'm up to bat. We hunted last night. We had the zebras come in, but we couldn't get them to close more than 100 yards. I think the closest they got was about 102. We just couldn't seal the deal last night, but we'll get back after it tonight. And we made a change, so we'll see what happens from there. And hopefully tonight we'll capitalize on that, and we'll have some more for you. I want to pause right here and talk about a few things for just a minute. First and foremost, the big thing that people are going to bitch and whine and moan about are, oh, you shot him in a high fence, oh, you this, oh, that's not real hunting, they're pets. Listen, let me tell you. Yeah, it's a high fence ranch. These exotic ranches in Texas, in order to manage and appropriately care for these animals, have to be high fence. You can't have these exotics and have a low fence. Now, what I'm going to say about this particular ranch is it's 1,000 acres. Which is a big piece of property. These animals are as wild as they get, and I assure you they don't let you get as close to them as you think. Bison, as you saw, we were able to get pretty close and relative open, are not scared of you. You might think they are, but I promise you they're not. They know how big they are. They know how dangerous they are. They'll let you get a little closer than most things will. So yeah, we're hunting a high fence. I used to have the same opinion where, oh, you shouldn't hunt a high fence. Oh, they're pets. They're this. I've hunted a couple of high fence ranches. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. I have been to one where that is the case, that some of those animals will do that. And some of those ranches they've got 100 acre, 150 acre type high fenced in areas that it's more or less a kill pen, and that is the case. But on a property like this, 1,000 acres that they have to roam inside this high fence, they're as wild as they get. So let me assure you, these aren't pets. And if you're gonna bitch and whine and moan about it, just save it, because I don't want to hear it. Now, what I want to get into next is kind of our game plan change for my zebra hunt. You saw the bison, that was great. The second evening, our plan was to go out and hunt this zebra, and we kind of had them patterned. We thought we knew what they were going to do. Well, what we didn't account for was the weather change. The weather dropped a little bit, the temperature dropped a little bit, and by the time we were ready to go out the second evening, the zebra were already in the field. So we had to make an on-the-go decision. You'll see that in a minute. The closest we were able to get was going to be about 65 yards. So you'll see that in a minute. Unfortunately, it didn't go quite the way that I had planned, but you know, these things never do. So we'll get into that.
Oh,
Yes.
good shot.
That is a dead zebra.
Yeah.